back with more Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live in studio, I welcome from the Cape Cod Commission, Director of Technical Services, Glenn Cannon. Glenn, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm doing just fine.
So Glenn, of course, it is Bay State Bike Week this week. I think for the past few years in a row, it's rained like every day on Bay State Bike Week, so this is awesome that it's been nice weather pretty much every day.
It is sometimes very difficult, challenging this time of the year. It is a national event, though, so they do schedule it during May to reach out to the majority of the United States of America. I'm not sure it's the best month for us here on Cape Cod. Still a little bit overcast most of these days. But again, it is a national kickoff, so we'd like to participate in that.
Absolutely. So tell me about Bay State Bike Week. What is the goal of this week?
Sure. For us, Bay State Bike Week is sponsored by MassDOT, who's really trying to reach out to all users of the roadway. And really, it's an educational program. You know, we give away free supplies, bike lights, bags, armbands to make everybody more visible at night. But it's educating the bikers and educating the public that we're going to have more bikers on the road during the summertime. It's just a matter of fact. So, we want to make sure everybody's safe out there.
Absolutely, and really there's so many different types of bicyclists here on Cape Cod, and I think there's everywhere from the real kind of elite riders that are going out to ride and get fit and go fast, all the way to the workers who are, they've come here without a car and buses might not run late at night, so they're using their bicycles as their main means of transportation.
Correct, and it is an educational component. We also do try to reach out to the foreign workers who come every summer to make sure that we're highlighting to them, to make it safe for them. Lots of times they're getting bicycles that are just used from a business or somebody's donated it, but to make sure that they have maybe a helmet or something reflective at night so they can be seen, because many times they're working at restaurants, they're getting out of work at 11, 12 o'clock at night and then riding their bicycle home because they have no other means of transportation.
Absolutely. And so again, this week serves as a way to raise awareness that there are going to be cyclists, as well as push a little bit about safety. And we talked a lot about when you're riding your bike, you want to be kind of tight and bright, right? So you don't want to wear loose clothing that might get caught in the chain and be bright. So you brought some items with you here today that you're actually going to be giving away at an event tomorrow.
Correct. Tomorrow morning we actually have an event right here at Barnstable Town Hall, out on Main Street. We're going to be giving away, the armbands. They can also be worn on your leg to keep your pant leg out of your chain.
Yes.
But again, reflective. We will have bike lights so that you'll be able to see people at night. I know some might be a little bit difficult to see, but it does help. Just as a little bit can help on the road. We will have swag bags too, so for your summertime visitors, they can throw their towel in there, head down to the beach. But again, all of these things to help people try to be more visible at night.
Absolutely.
So very important.
And this bag is actually pretty cool because it has reflective strips and it can be worn as a backpack, right? So
Correct.
This is not only a place to store your items, it also is reflective and will help you gain that visibility when you're out on the road.
Yes, I do also want to say, C Sports Cycling will be here tomorrow morning to help people with their tune-ups of their bikes, to maybe give them some recommendations on fitting their bike. Very important to make sure that your bike is fitted to you so that, again, you are safe in case you need to maneuver out of the way for something. So
absolutely. So that event, of course, taking place tomorrow, Friday morning from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock, same time we're on the air here on Barnstable This Morning, right off at the Village Green. So who is this event geared towards? This is geared towards anyone who's riding their bike, perhaps bike commuters, who can come to the biker breakfast?
It's really for everyone, and we're trying to reach out to everyone. Again, casual riders, the serious riders, it's called a biker breakfast. We are going to have refreshments there, coffee in the morning. So there are other people, and there's the host of everybody who's riding on the road. There are people who are riding to work and maybe stop by for a bagel before they go to work. But we also want to make sure we reach out to everyone, the casual user, as well as the motorist too. I mean, that's very important too. It's from both sides. The biker has to be safe out there. The motorist has to be respectful of the biker. The biker has to be respectful of the motorist.
Absolutely, and I think we really have seen an uptick in folks considering or actually doing, using their bike as a way to get to and from work, especially this time of year where the weather's a little bit more favorable. And I know that at the Commission and with MassDOT, you've really been working to kind of make it a little easier for folks to do that by kind of doing some increasing the rail trail, and that's not just for commuting, but for recreation as well.
Correct, and it is for both. Again, at the Cape Cod Commission, we're always trying to improve bicycling across Cape Cod. there's just more and more bikers every single year. I'm not even sure we know what the real demand is if we had better services. Senator Wolf always pressed that we should be providing better services for bikers because the demand is out there, the economic demand is out there is going to be coming. But we're trying to extend the Cape Cod Rail Trail, and that's used by everyone. Again, you go out there early in the morning, there are commuters out there who are riding to work, but it's also safe for our visitors. But that also doesn't, that's a nice stretch. We kind of call it the spine. We're trying to connect Bourne to Provincetown and then Bourne down to Woods Hole. But we also want to connect it to downtown. We have a plan right now to bring it down Yarmouth Road so you can come right to downtown Hyannis, safe and secure, off the road bike path that is safe. But that's just one of the initiatives we're working on. We're also trying to provide bike lanes where we can't fit in a bike path. So bike paths are fairly expensive. They come with a high price tag. But a bike lane, sometimes all it is moving the fog line.
Right.
We're going to be looking at sections of Route 28 this year where literally they might have enough pavement already to accommodate a bike lane, but the fog line is over by the curb, and we want to move it in a little bit to give the biker some room.
Right, so not necessarily a dedicated bike lane, but a little bit more space. And I know, as a cyclist myself, I definitely look for roads that have kind of a wider shoulder and where I do have a little bit more room to ride and feel safe and comfortable along those spaces. So you're looking at kind of Route 28, right, for something like that? Yeah,
this year we'll be undertaking a project on Route 28, and again, really looking for low-cost solutions where we can really just move that paint line without adding more pavement. Again, we are always trying to improve the Route 28 also, but trying to provide some services a little bit quicker that could be done maybe this year.
Absolutely. And so, again, as we think about Bay State Bike Week, is there anything underway to kind of encourage folks to kind of ride their bike more? I know that it takes cars off the road. It kind of reduces traffic as well as saves the environment a little bit.
Yeah, I think people do it for many different reasons. I think the more services or facilities that we can provide for them. We also have like a bike rack program right now at the Cape Cod Commission. Towns can be reimbursed for bike racks that they purchase through our program, so it's really coming free of charge to the town. And that's one of the services too. We just had a meeting the other day talking about the charter school right here in downtown Hyannis, how a lot of kids are coming to school, being driven to school. Well, they're not sure they have safe, secure bike racks right now for if they were to bike to school. And to make sure they have the facilities to get here downtown and make sure the roadways are safe. So we are always working on that to try to help people who want to be out of the car, and there's a big demand out there for it.
Absolutely, and I know the RTA is doing their part as well. They have bike racks on their buses. I actually saw an RTA bus this morning that said Bay State Bike Week on its little LED screen that they change the display every now and then, so we know that the RTA is really kind of doing their part to increase accessibility for bicyclists.
They are. They're one of our great partners, and I'm glad you mentioned them. They really do help us out a lot, and particularly with the transitions. One thing about it is, as people commute, it isn't always just on their bike. They may want to ride their bike to work and take the bus home. Lots of times, certainly on the Outer Cape, I think people come to the end of the Cape Cod Rail Trail, they think they want to ride their bike up to Provincetown, and then when they ride that 20 miles up to Provincetown, they're a little bit tired, and they really don't want to ride back. So they are looking to an alternative service. I think it happens a lot. I talked to Sarah Peak, State Representative Sarah Peak out there, and she says she thinks a lot of the crashes, the bike crashes that happen out there, are people who have gotten on their bike for the first time in 20 years.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and they're just not accustomed to being back on that bike again.
There's a couple of hills out that way too, Glenn.
Exactly. a little bit more, they chew off a little bit more than they want to. So again, we're looking for our partners at the RTA to help people like that, get back home with, and then they can be safe.
Absolutely, and they can say, okay, I'm tired, I want to get off my bike, flag down the bus, get on the bus and get safe.
Right, and the RTA is a great partner in that. Means they've been helping us tremendously every step of the way.
Wonderful. Well, really looking forward to the biker breakfast tomorrow. I'm going to try and sneak out a couple of times and say hello to everyone and get on my bike and ride to work. Before you go, Glenn, I wanted to talk too about back on the roadways, Route 28 and Katuitt. The study is kicking off next month. Tell me a little bit about this project.
Correct. So this is a section of Route 28 where we're going to be looking for a little bit more long-term solutions out there, pretty much from the Mashpee Town line back to Newtown Santuit Road. A couple intersections there that are a real concern to the town, particularly Route 130 and Route 28, Main Street and Route 28, and then Newtown and Route 28. All three intersections are a big concern. Again, we'll be looking at short-term improvements there also, but maybe the longer term, whether or not we're talking about traffic signals, roundabouts. I'm really not quite sure right now, but we want to at least reach out to folks, hear about what their concerns are, and then also, the biking and pedestrian community here. There's a small village there, so we want to make sure we accommodate them. People are walking out there. People are biking out there. I know a lot of bikers have told us they try to avoid that area.
Yes.
So, see what we can do to accommodate them and help them out a little bit. I do know the existing traffic signal at Route 130 and Route 28 does not have any pedestrian facilities at all. There is also a multi-use path that comes down Route 130.
Yep.
And I believe ends right at the Mashpee town line. So, should we be extending that down to at least to Route 28 to make that connection? But that will be kicking off next month. And again, we really want to hear people's ideas of what should be done out there.
Absolutely.
And then put a plan together to make it happen.
Indeed, and I'm thinking, there's a lot of businesses in that area, so it would be good for people to be able to get out and get on foot and feel safe crossing the road, going from one place to the other in that area. And certainly, I know even in my car, I try to avoid taking a left turn onto Route 28 from Santuit Newtown Road. It's virtually impossible even this time of year.
Correct. I think it's one of those areas of Route 28 and certainly in Barnstable where there's congestion year round. We have a lot of visitors come down for the summer and the traffic patterns change a lot, but this is one section where there is congestion virtually year round.
Absolutely.
There's always congestion out there.
So what kind of elements does a study like this contain? Are there a lot of public forums? Are there kind of traffic counts? Talk to me a little bit about the process for a study
sure.
like that.
And the first meeting will just be a kickoff meeting where we really want to hear from folks to see what we should be investigating. But again, behind the scenes, we will also be doing a traffic model, which is based on the traffic count. So we'll be going out and doing traffic counts, both the off-season and the peak season, to get the change of how traffic patterns flow out there. We also look at the crash history, to see what is happening out there, how the crashes are happening, how they could be avoided, what we could do, make changes in the roadway to prevent some of these crashes. Again, and also the bicycle and pedestrian community there to see where people want to go, where they're walking, what facilities are available. So we'll be taking all that information back. This will be the first of a series of meetings. So we'll at least have the kickoff meeting. Again, it's more ideas. We want to hear from the community what's going on. We bring those ideas back to the office, come up with alternatives, come back to the community with a host of ideas, because there's never one solution that fits all. So a host of ideas was acceptable to the community, and then hear back from the community again what they want to see in their own town, and then move those ideas forward again with MassDOT or with the town for implementation.
Excellent.
So it is a series of meetings.
Certainly. Well, Glenn, I thank you so much, as always, for stopping by and joining us here live in studio on Barnstable This Morning.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Glenn Cannon, of course, the Director of Technical Services for the Cape Cod Commission. Don't miss the Hyannis Biker Breakfast taking place right in our Town Hall front yard on the Village Green tomorrow morning from 8 to 9. We'll be back with more Barnstable This Morning in just a minute.